Good afternoon, everyone. It's really been 2 days of fresh air, unbelievable. So I'm going to tell you a bit about Seedstars World and what I do, but before, as David explained, why did I leave this beautiful postcard Switzerland to go to overwhelming, chaotic Nigeria? From Geneva to Lagos, and this all in the last month. It's definitely not because of pollution, definitely not because of traffic. It's literally 10 minutes, and it now takes 3 hours in certain areas. It's not because you paid 12 months up front, your rent. And I realized the biggest pain when I arrived in Nigeria, what we take mostly for granted in Europe is IKEA furniture. So, who we are, Seedstars World is a competition that now runs in 60 countries. We launched it in 2013. And the objective is to find the best entrepreneurs, to support them, connect them, and invest in these entrepreneurs. So we really go from Nigeria to Colombia to Mexico City. And with this, we received, by the end of the year, we'll be receiving 3,000 applications, listening to 700 pitches, getting the top 100 to come to Switzerland for what I like to say, the Startup Olympics, where we really try to connect them with corporates, with the government, and the other stakeholders that really can support these entrepreneurs to scale. And this is one of the reasons why I'm in Nigeria, is to get closer to the market. And when we think Africa, we think Nigeria. So, when you see these 3 countries, what comes to your mind? Usually, there's a predominant fear. Last time there was someone who was like, because there was Colombia, they were like, narcos, so Netflix is doing well. But in reality, we always think of drugs, corruption, overpopulation, and we have unbelievable people that we've met between yesterday and today that are trying to solve these issues, and I'm not here to underestimate them, but I'm really here to show you that there's so much more to these markets. And I think we're underestimating the potential, these citizens, these consumers, and what we can get out of these different economies. So quickly, what does emerging market mean? By 2030, nearly 90% of the population is going to be in emerging markets. Not in the US, not in Europe. What's even more shocking, by 2020, most of the smartphones are going to be in emerging markets. So most markets today have feature phones, and that's still the predominant use, but smartphones are penetrating at a very, very fast pace. This is how we usually see the world in terms of GDP per capita, and you see the most fructuous regions are the ones in developed economies. But we like to see the world more in terms of internet penetration and where we still have the untapped in terms of consumers, in terms of citizens. So the reality is that we still have over 4 billion people that we need to reach, and we need to reach with our ideas, we need to reach with our products, with our services. So in the next 4 years, we'll be adding an additional 500 million people online, and that's thanks to mostly the BRIC countries and other regions in the world. The reality is, it took us over 100 years to get 1 billion consumers for the telephone. It took us less than 5 to get 1 billion users for the smartphone. We can only imagine for the next technology leaps how long it's going to take us, and it won't be in Europe and in the US. And also in terms, this is just another way of showing you how the developed regions have been surpassed by the emerging markets in terms of smartphone. And basically because we've saturated in our markets, and now the next frontiers are going to be there. So when we talk about emerging markets, it's really interesting to look in terms of leapfrogging. Leapfrogging is really the act of going directly to a more advanced technology because it's more cost efficient, it's more productive, it's more efficient for the consumer. And so this is really a great way to translate how emerging markets have transformed and how the consumer habits are very different to ours. The most famous example is that of mobile phone. So emerging economies have completely leapfrogged desktop directly to mobile phones. They literally are able to do every single task of their day with their mobile phone. So when I was in Switzerland and my friends were like, oh, I can finally pay with an SMS, the tram, etc. This has been happening for a while in Africa. And from this leapfrog, we see all industries being disrupted. So here is our winner from South Africa, Giraffe, who's completely rethought the recruitment. So now in South Africa, job seekers can simply send through SMS to Giraffe to build their own CV that will be sent out then to companies that are looking to recruit. Simple SMS. Then we have mobile money. The biggest example that we still give today, and I will be using it because I'm still shocked at how many people are not aware of it, is M-Pesa in Kenya. M-Pesa is the capability of, with your mobile phone, not a smartphone, you are able to use airtime because we don't pay subscription in Africa. So basically you buy a prepaid card to get airtime, and this airtime actually can be used to do basically anything from paying your gas to your supermarket, etc. And so today we can say that 40% of the GDP of Kenya passes through M-Pesa. Basically every Kenyan uses M-Pesa. Simple Pay, our winner from Nigeria, is also bringing kind of the technologies that we see in Europe. It's a mix of Stripe, PayPal, and supporting financial inclusion in general in Nigeria. Or we even have Salarium, which is our winner from Philippines. We're seeing a lot of disruption in B2B. And here it's an example of literally just providing a simple solution for the payrolls in companies. But this is very important in emerging markets where the informal market is still so big. So it allows us to bring a lot of transparency. And from these payroll systems, you can deduct directly tax, etc., and also allow them to get to get a loan or other services. BitNexo, our winner from China, basically uses virtual currency, the beauty of Bitcoins and others, to support merchants from cross borders to pay one another, and has allowed to increase the sales for these merchants. Again, nothing in terms of pure technology here is disruptive, but maybe in emerging economies, the future of high tech will be in the low tech, because the future impacting that number of people will not necessarily be in this extremely disruptive technology or bringing on a new patent, but more in the way we access the consumer and his habits. Let's look at leapfrogging in terms of commerce, so m-commerce, e-commerce. Just a quick number to understand the reality: 1,200 people per retail outlet versus 90,000 per retail outlet when you compare US and the APAC region. We can only imagine all the opportunities in terms of e-commerce and m-commerce. So we have Scandit, our winner from India, which basically has built a directory of barcodes. They just closed their Series A. And with this, it allows you to scan the product with its barcode and compare it online directly and purchase the product. We have OK High. Another big issue in emerging markets is you do not have 7 Orchard Street. Billions of people do not have a physical address. So OK High in Kenya has created this directory where with GPS and a photo of where you live, we're able to pinpoint. And you can imagine that for e-commerces and other delivery system, how useful this can be, reducing costs. And leapfrogging is endless. And this is the beauty. We don't know where we're going to be going next. Here it's just in terms of renewable energies, but M-Kopa Solar has been able to enter the houses of hundreds of thousands of Kenyans and now expanding to the neighboring countries. It's basically a solar kit that is able to generate power for a whole house of Kenyans. It's $200. The average salary is around $1,000, $1,200 per month. So what they do, it's a great system with M-Pesa, of course, where you pay upfront $30 and you reimburse gradually until owning your own M-Copa Solar, and all this through the M-Pesa system. Trends, quickly looking at some trends and what's happening in these markets. So e-commerce, we always tend to forget the Arab world, but what's happening is incredible, and we're seeing more and more services that are really for the Arab world and in terms of the solutions and the habits. So this is the representation of the market in 2018. It's doubled since 2013. We have solutions, so we have our winner from Turkey, for example, Pricing. So it's not directly in e-commerce, but basically he provides the solution for e-commerces that can see in live the prices of their competitors and change the price accordingly so that they can be more competitive on the market. We have online gaming in LATAM. I was very surprised by these numbers, but it's true that once we're now in 12 countries in Latin America, there are a lot of gamers. 60% was the growth of online gaming in Latin America between 2013 and 2014. The biggest gamers in the world come from Brazil, so we have great solutions like our winner from Argentina, who's created this kind of Netflix for social gaming. So it's through series, famous series. He's creating these episodes, and the gamers can go in and gradually go to the next level. And travel, of course, everyone has been to Thailand or Indonesia. So in the Asia-Pacific region, it's very powerful. And in literally every competition I've been to in Asia, there is at least 10% of travel startups. And they're customizing the whole journey of the consumer from the moment he leaves the home to when he arrives in his destination. And this is, for example, our winner from Vietnam, Ha, and she has built this impressively large community now in over 30 regions around the world, where anyone can become the local guide. It's not a new solution, but she's created a very big community that's growing. So innovation, if we want to talk more about innovation, here's the ranking between 2013 and 2014, and you can see that gradually emerging markets are taking the place. And I remember in previous generations saying that Japanese products were of low quality at that time, and now they're the premium products on the market. So we can only expect the same thing from these regions. They will no longer be the countries just to manufacture goods. We've blurred the lines completely, and we are seeing top technology startups having their R&D centers in Vietnam and other places in the world. But if we want to talk about innovation, I've got a winner from Lagos who's actually transforming waste into fuel. I don't think, with regards to regulation, he would be accepted in Europe, but he's doing it. We have our winner from Armenia, iCare Plus. Basically, they're supporting with a simple app many diseases related to the eye. So sensitivity tests, they do glaucoma tests, and they give you support and some exercises that you can do. We have our winner from Costa Rica. It's a drone, nothing very new, but it's impressive that it's flying over Costa Rica to support the farmers. And we will be seeing more drones flying in these regions before it gets to us. We have Imakina from Mexico City. They've created this wearable technology. The most famous product is their jacket, where you can really live the sensation of your game. Or we have our winner from Dubai, Kintrans, who has given voice to the unvoiced. So basically with a keynote, so augmented reality, the movements is translated in an automated message and also voice. So imagine this in public institutions such as hospitals and at the airport. So you see, 2015 is the year when half of the world's GDP will be in emerging markets. So if you ask me why I moved to beautiful Switzerland, to overwhelming Nigeria, it's because of these talents that we find in these regions, and it's because of the, I lost my word, it's because of these, for sure, overwhelming opportunities. Thank you very much.